Hey guys, welcome back. We are on episode 14 now. Super excited about that. Oh my gosh. Of course, still no intro because your girl has just not gotten up to date with her technology advancements. I've tried and everybody's like, use Canva. I don't know how to use it. I'm sorry. I downloaded the app. I don't know what I'm doing. I've tried 10 different times to make an intro and I just don't know what I'm doing. So maybe it's just me at this point, okay? If anybody knows anybody that can make a nice little intro, at this point, slide in my way, because if I have to do it, it's looking like a season 2 thing. Speaking of season 2, I finally know how many episodes I want to be in each season. I'm going to do 100 episodes each season. So all of this is considered season 1 because I feel like 100 of anything is like enough to see the progress in it. So once we get to season 2, this entire podcast will be totally different than from episode 1. So 100 episodes each season, and I don't want to say how many seasons I'm going to do because I just want it to be like a forever thing. So, but you guys, I do have a lot to talk about today. The first thing I want to talk about is some of the feedback that I've been getting from strangers and my personal friends and family. So most of the feedback is really positive and really uplifting and really validating for me, honestly, because a lot of people send me DMs on TikTok and Instagram from the clips that I post, and they, tell me how the stories that in my head I think aren't relatable at all, they tell me that they've gone through the same thing, or they'll tell me a story that's similar to it. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. And when it's Black women, it always makes me feel so comforted because I just feel like Black women can give me just everything. Just, when it's somebody that I can relate to on all walks of life, it's just like, oh my God, I'm really not alone. So it makes me feel good. Now, my friends and family is when it comes into the actual critiques of the podcast, right? And it doesn't hurt my feelings because I hate when people lie to me. Like, just because you know me and I'm trying to do this new thing with my life doesn't mean that you have to say, oh my God, I listened to the podcast, girl, it was amazing, and you only listened to a minute of it and you turned it off and went back to Netflix. You know what I mean? Just tell me the truth. If you couldn't listen to the whole thing, that means that I couldn't grasp you in the first couple seconds and I need to do better, right? Okay, so So I had a friend recently listen to the last episode I put out, episode 13, and she texted me and was like, hey, on a drive, which I think is the perfect time to listen to my podcast, when you're on a drive, going to work, in the shower, just when you have some random time to listen. So she was like, I'm about to give it a listen. I'll tell you my feedback when I'm finished. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was so ready for her feedback because just like me, she's such an honest person. Like, she's gonna give me I wasn't feeling that, that was good. So I was ready. So the first question, I knew this conversation wasn't going in my favor when the first question she asked, after about 2 hours, the episode was only 40 minutes, but after 2 hours, I get a text from her and she goes, so what type of podcast do you want this to be? And I didn't know what to say because I was like, well, it's categorized under a comedy podcast, so I guess like that. And she was like, no, do you want this to be an uplifting podcast? Do you want this to be a podcast about mental health? What is the message that you're trying to get out with this podcast? And that's such a loaded question that I started to get nervous. I was like, what? Why are you asking me this? Who are you talking to? Who wants to know? And then before I could even type out my response, she was basically because she got to the bit where I was talking about the life I daydream about having and how it's different from the life I live now. And basically I said that I imagined, living alone on a farm full of animals. Basically, if it's in the episode, go back and watch episode and listen to episode 13, so you can really hear what I say, because I thought nothing was wrong with it. I was just telling my truth. When I daydream about my life, whether it's future, past, now, I'm always alone. And I don't think she liked that. She said, I don't like how ready you are, or how I had to go back and read the text. She was like, I don't like how accepting you are to the fact that you're gonna basically die alone. And she was basically like, it's going to make your podcast seem bitter, and it's going to make your podcast it's going to make people not want to listen to your podcast because you sound like basically she was trying to call me a bitter black woman. Now, hold up. My friend is also black, so I didn't take offense to that as much as I would have if she was not. And, she was basically explaining to me how black women, since my targeted audience is black women, she was basically saying how black women already get like the stigma or the stereotype for being bitter, for being mad all the time, for being, scorned and stuff like that. She was like, the last thing a black woman wants to hear when they turn on their favorite podcast is another bitter black woman, right? And so even though I understood where she was coming from, I couldn't have disagreed more because, first of all, bitch, I'm not even bitter. The point of me wanting to live alone came to me far, see, she got me stuttering. That y'all can tell this turned into a FaceTime conversation. But I was saying me wanting to live my life alone was mapped out by the time I was like 7, 8. You know what I mean? Way before I had ever gotten into a relationship with a man or a woman. Just like I told you guys in the last episode, when I was a kid, I never imagined, a wedding day, a husband, kids. Whenever I thought about my future, it was always just me by myself and a couple animals. That doesn't come from being a scorned woman. That doesn't come from a man or woman doing me wrong. That's just the life I've always wanted for myself. And I can't imagine it any other way because I see no point to. So as I was explaining this to her, she says, well, I just feel like your podcast is going to make people who are bitter, scorned, depressed, you're just going to make them even more depressed. And I was like, I don't really think so, because I listen to my podcast and I'm clinically and diagnosed, like I'm actually depressed and I have PTSD, and my podcast is fun to make and listen to. I enjoy what I say and I mean what I say. And I started making this podcast because I felt like there were only a couple black women, young black women podcasters who talked about the topics that I talk about, right? Now, in my head, coming from someone who is depressed, if I was on this podcast or if I listened to another podcast and they were talking about, women who don't want to have kids, y'all suck, and women who are depressed, y'all just lazy. You know what I mean? If I was saying all of those things, then I can understand how I would make a woman feel even more depressed. But since I'm open and I talk about it, it's not a feeling of, well, damn, this bitch is just as sad as I am. It's more of a like, finally somebody can not only understand what I'm going through, but they can articulate it in a way that doesn't sound negative and doesn't, to the point where I can be like, girl, me too. Me fucking too. It's about time somebody said that shit, instead of trying to put roses and flowers around it to make it seem like some of the shit I talk about isn't as big of a deal as it is, because it is. So I got a little offended when she was saying that. I was like, I mean, this is coming from a woman who does not suffer any mental illness. You have to realize what the podcast is called. The podcast is named Chemically Imbalanced Black Girl. We're not going to be talking about, you click on this podcast and expect me to be on a yacht, sailing on my daddy's river that he bought when he was 18, drinking martinis. You know what I mean? That's not this podcast. By the title alone, you should understand that that's not this podcast. It's why I named this podcast what it is named, so that people who feel that way can gravitate towards it based on the name alone. Because if I have never had any trauma in my life, if I was born rich, parents got money to blow, you know what I mean? I've just had this really simple, easy life and maybe a few troubles along the way. The last podcast I would click on is somebody called, basically mentally fucked up. You know what I mean? So I was basically telling her, it doesn't matter the category of this podcast. And it doesn't matter the message I'm trying to get out with this podcast. The category and the message are going to get to the people it needs to get to, regardless. Now, if you aren't that person, if you don't fit that description of people, that's fine. But I don't want people to try to tweak what I mean and what I say on my podcast because it doesn't make them feel good. You know what I mean? So I know that was a little rant, but that one kind of got me a little heated. And obviously, by the end of the conversation, when I threw a couple cuss words in there, she was like, oh, okay, I understand. And then we just agreed that maybe my podcast wasn't for her, wasn't on her list of like daily podcasts that she listens to. But if there was a specific episode I wanted her feedback on, then that's when she would listen. And I'm okay with that. I was like, that's fine. I feel like you took too many words or you said too many things that didn't make sense just to say this podcast isn't for me, or this is a podcast that I don't want to listen to all day. And it's fine. That is so okay. But all right, guys, let's move on. Sorry for the rant. That just triggered me a little bit because I was like, girl, just say it with your chest, please. Oh my God, my friends are annoying as fuck. And I know she's going to listen to this and be like, damn, ho. I'm sorry. But okay, guys, let's move on to the thought of the day. This is a really random thought of the day because it recently happened to me yesterday and it really pissed me off. And I don't know if you guys get like emotionally attached and bothered by food, but because I'm such an emotional eater, when my food comes out any way besides the way I want it, I will break down crying. And I'm not lying to you. Like, I know you guys are like, she didn't actually cry. No, I will fully break down and cry. I'm so serious. Especially if there's no way I can get it remade to the way I like it. Oh, I'm having a fit. Like if I went to go pick up food and I didn't check it before I left and I get all the way home and it's just not how I want it, I'm gonna cry. And I know I'm not gonna eat it, which is why I'm crying. And this happened to me yesterday. So yesterday I went to Wingstop because that's one of my favorite places to eat. Why? I don't know. And I recently just discovered Wingstop in 2022. I had my first Wingstop in like May of 2022 because I remember I had it for my birthday and I was like, damn, this is fire. And you can definitely tell I'm an emotional eater because I get the same thing every time. Like if I go to a restaurant and I order something and I like it, every time I go to that restaurant, I'm going to get the same thing. And I'm like that for every restaurant that I eat at. I get one thing everywhere and I never change it up because I don't want to be disappointed because there's emotions behind what the fuck I'm eating. Okay. I need to be happy. And this is the only thing that's going to give me happiness. So when I go to Wingstop, I get a 10-piece mango habanero, cheese fries, and a raspberry lemonade, double ranch. Okay. Real simple order. Very simple order. I never try hot. I never try what's that nasty shit? Lemon pepper. If you like lemon pepper wings, I'm not even gonna say nothing bad about you, but I want to. Just know that. So boom, mango habanero, cheese fries, raspberry lemonade, double ranch. Very simple order. One thing about me and chicken, I also used to be a vegetarian. So when I eat meat, it has to be a certain way or I feel nauseated, right? With everything in my body, hate crispy chicken. Oh my gosh. If I bite into a chicken wing and that shit sounds like I'm biting into glass, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I want to be able to suck my chicken off the damn bone. That's how soft I like my chicken. And I like all flats for chicken wings. So I want to be able to put the whole thing in my mouth and suck and pull the two bones out. Okay? All this extra chewing and shit and crunching, throw the whole fucking plate away. Okay, it pisses me off and it doesn't taste good. I don't want hard ass chicken. I don't want chicken jerky. I want chicken. I want juicy, soft chicken. Okay, I'm getting mad just talking about it. And the first couple times I've experienced Wingstop, they've cooked my flats perfectly, juicy to the point where I can just suck it right off the bone. And I'm like, damn, Wingstop know how to cook some chicken. I'm like, okay, this might be my new chicken joint. Whenever I feel like getting some chicken wings and french fries, I'm coming to Wingstop. Now me and Wingstop have a relationship. Also, I low-key want Wingstop to be my first sponsor. I'm going to do this podcast for like 5 years. Every episode, I'm going to try to talk about Wingstop. So an employee at Wingstop can be like, damn, maybe we should sponsor her. Because y'all should. I don't know why I want that to be my first sponsor, but I do. So anyway, yesterday I ordered some Wingstop. My order, 10-piece mango habanero, cheese fry, raspberry lemonade, double ranch. I keep saying it because it's so simple. So because me and Wingstop have had such a good relationship with my order, I don't check the bag anymore. I checked the bag maybe the first 3 times, poke the chicken, and I was like, hell yeah. If my finger goes through the chicken when I poke it, that's the way I fucking want it. Y'all made it right. Okay, so since we have this rapport now that obviously Wingstop just knows how to make my chicken, I don't check the bag anymore. So I come all the way home. I'm propping my shit up. I put the straw in my raspberry lemonade. I open my ranches, take a little bite of my cheese fries. I'm like, yup, they cooked right. I can take a crunchy fry. Crunchy fry. I opened that goddamn black chicken box. Dust should have just came out the goddamn box. I didn't even have to touch the chicken. I didn't have to pick the chicken up. The chicken looked hard as hell. I was so upset. I didn't even have to touch it. I just looked at it. Y'all know when chicken be hard and the skin of the chicken kind of looked see-through a little bit. It kind of looked like plastic. That's how hard this goddamn chicken was. Every single piece of chicken was fried that damn hard. All 10 pieces of this chicken. It wasn't no 6-piece. It wasn't no 8-piece. Every single 10 pieces of chicken was fried harder than the goddamn bottom of my dad's foot. I was so upset. So you know what I did? This is how y'all know that my parents are older. I take my chicken wings. We have this thing called a steamer where you can steam frozen vegetables and stuff like that. It'll make them softer. I take the steamer out the cabinet, put it on the stove, heat it up. I put some water on the chicken, put it in the steamer. Do y'all know that I steamed these chicken wings for 20 minutes? When I opened the lid to the steamer, it took a piece of chicken out to try it. Do y'all know that I still crunched on this piece of chicken? So at this point, I'm livid. Y'all know when y'all about to cry, but you're trying to stop yourself from crying. So you feel that it's like a tug in your chest. It's like that. It's like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh my God, I bust out crying. And I wasn't hysterically crying, but I was just there were tears, but it was just like a silent cry to myself. Because who else is around to care? I'm not going to dramatically cry by myself, but I do feel the emotions to cry, so I'm finna cry. So I had to sit down and eat cheese fries, ranch, and raspberry lemonade just by themselves because I was not going to eat that fucking chicken. I steamed it for 20 minutes. How is it still hard? This chicken was cooked in hell. You cooked my chicken with hellfire and there's no way to get it back to its original state. Why would you sell chicken this fucking hard? I'm getting mad just thinking about it because I've never had a bad experience with Wingstop. And that necessarily wasn't a bad experience because I know a lot of people who prefer crunchy chicken. I'm just not one of them people. Perfect example. Y'all know Domino's got chicken wings or whatever that is. And Domino's is known for soft chicken wings. I personally think that that's how you should make a fucking chicken wing. I should be able to taste the sauce, the skin, and the chicken. Not just sauce and skin. Not just sauce and hard-ass skin. But I also know that people have said that Domino's chicken is slimy. It's, too soft. It's undercooked. You know what I mean? Now, we ain't gonna eat no undercooked chicken. But I do like my chicken of the juicy side. I do like a juicy chicken wing. And I don't think that that's wrong. I just feel like my soft chicken needs just have to be validated. If you're listening to this and you like soft chicken, like juicy soft chicken, I need you to go to my Instagram or my TikTok and be like, sis, I'm a soft chicken eater. I don't know what I want you to tell me. I just need you to help me feel better about eating soft chicken because my parents like crunchy chicken. My siblings like crunchy chicken. Most of my friends like crunchy chicken. I only know one person that I'm close with that enjoys soft chicken just as much as I do. And that's not enough. I feel like crunchy chicken is So like I said, if you specifically like your chicken soft, just let me know. Just make me feel better today, okay? Do a good deed, your first good deed of 2023, and just validate a black girl about her soft chicken needs because it's real out here and a lot of people don't understand. All right, guys, I do want to talk about some shows that I've been getting into, but first I want to take a little detour and just talk about Twitter because I feel like Twitter is the root of all evil. No, I'm just playing. I definitely feel like you have to be a special type of person to remain on Twitter. Obviously, we're on episode 14 now. You guys know that I am mentally and emotionally unstable, right? So Twitter, I feel like you can either love Twitter or you hate Twitter. And I deactivated my Twitter in 2019 because I'm just not one of those people who can laugh at stupid shit, right? And I feel like Twitter was made just so people can say stupid shit or just voice the most diabolical opinions. And I am not that mature to be like, agree to disagree, or everyone's entitled to their own opinion. While I know that's true, I couldn't give a fuck if the fuck was free. You know what I mean? I hate hearing people's opinions that are absolutely idiotic. If there's a disagreement and both arguments are like providing valid facts or like funny little, logical statements, then I can get jiggy with that. But some people just be saying dumb shit. And I'm just like, how is that funny? I don't understand how that's funny. And I'm never the type of person to argue in comments or comment on anything on the internet ever. Except TikTok. I be commenting, I'm not gonna lie. Because some of them men and some of them women be fine. And I'll be like, Jesus, Jamal Christ. This is the best thing I've ever seen. But when it comes to like debates and stuff like that, or just like arguments, I have never and will never partake in that. But it even bothers me to read it. Like, out of all the things you could be doing with your day, you're arguing with someone who you don't even know. Like, this person doesn't even have an Abby. They could be 12 years old and you're 32 arguing with a 12-year-old over a topic that has to do with a person that don't know neither one of you. You know what I mean? So I'm just not like, and then I was telling my one of my old friends about this, and she would always be like, well, I bet you're fun at parties. And I'm just like, it don't have nothing to do with that. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I just can't laugh at dumb shit. And I feel like Twitter was made so people can just feel like they have a voice, which is perfectly fine. But like, I have no desire to be like, just woke up, I don't want to go to school. Like, it just makes you feel like you have to say something every day, even if the shit you say is absolutely empty and stupid. I don't know. Then again, I'm also not a fan of social media, which is why it took me so long to make this podcast, because I was like, I know I'm going to have to promote myself, and I know I'm going to have to put this podcast on all types of platforms, and I'm really not looking forward to that, because I hate engaging, and sometimes I just really don't like people. So going back to episode 4, I think when I talked about it, this was a huge step for me, because I'm so used to being quiet and laying low and like people thinking I died, that doing this podcast and trying to get such a large outreach on social media is so blasphemous to me, because I'm just like, me? So yeah. If you are an avid Twitter user, I am not, in any way coming at you. I just think you're stronger mentally than I am, because I know that y'all see stuff. People who use Twitter every day, I know that y'all see stuff on Twitter that make you want to delete that app every fucking day. You can't tell me that you don't. You can't tell me that you don't see them same recycled tweets from 2016, them same recycled memes, the same racist ass arguments, the same you can't tell me you don't want to delete that app every day. And people listening to this right now be like, y'all, I do. Every day I do, but I just don't. And honestly, Instagram is going up there too, because I don't know, Instagram just seems so, I don't want to say it seems fake, but I just feel like it's just kind of redundant now, to be honest with you, especially with TikTok. I just feel like Instagram should have been like deactivated in like 2018. No, that's harsh. I'll say 2020. I feel like the fall of Instagram really was 2020, because it was the rise of TikTok. And now, me personally, I have never seen anybody make money off of Instagram besides people who already had money or who were already famous. But TikTok is literally changing like 18-year-olds' lives. Like, TikTok has took somebody from their mom's house to a luxury, high-rise apartment. Instagram just doesn't have the reach, and it doesn't have the numbers that TikTok has. You know what I mean? Especially because TikTok is based on algorithm and Instagram is just based on like whatever the fuck. So I just feel like Instagram is kind of redundant now. But I have one for my podcast because I know I need to have my podcast on all platforms just in case somebody doesn't have a TikTok and they only have Instagram or vice versa. So I just want to be able to promote the podcast on every platform just in case everybody doesn't have a certain one. Oh my gosh, guys. Okay, so the next segment I was going to talk about some shows and like my One Piece update, even though there really isn't one. But I have to talk to you guys about Carrie Bradshaw. I know in a couple episodes ago, I was telling you guys about how I give all my exes like aliases and like code names and stuff. And Carrie Bradshaw is the one that told me that because I didn't want to have kids and I didn't want to get married, then I was basically a waste of a woman, right? And also, while I was editing the episode, I accidentally called him Clifford the second time. And Clifford is an entire other ex. I'm gonna get into that later. Just listen. Focus on Carrie Bradshaw for a second. So Carrie Bradshaw texted me last night. Well, first he DMs me on Instagram. And he's like, yo, bitch, I know you guys don't know me. But that is the most like unattractive way to get my attention ever, a man or a woman. If you're trying to like flirt with me or anything, the last thing I want to hear is do I look like a what did Lotto say? Do I look like a pull-up bitch? Like, don't talk to me like that. Nigga, introduce yourself. But anyway, I digress. So I haven't talked to this man in God knows how long. And he sends me a picture like I just graduated boot camp. I don't know what branch he was in. I didn't even really look at his uniform. I was like, okay, ill. Like, y'all ever see a picture of your ex, like, currently, and then you have, like, a existential crisis? Like, what? Who was I when I thought that was attractive? Like, ugh. So after he sent me the picture, I don't know if he wanted to be like, oh, my God. Oh, wait, mind you, hold on. Mind you, homeboy. Oh, my God, y'all. I told y'all my life is like a comic relief and a Greek tragedy. Homeboy has a child and a girlfriend, which his girlfriend is currently pregnant with twins. Why I know this? Because he told me. Like, so I think he wanted me to be like, oh my God, congratulations, you're doing so well in life, I'm so proud of you. I immediately was like, stop talking to me. I don't give a fuck about which you graduated. I don't even know why you sent this to me. Like, was that a mistake? So what Carrie Bradshaw likes to do, he likes to gaslight and also act stupid because I'm older than him. So he explain to me, explain what's going on, like explain. And then when I choose not to explain why I don't fuck with him anymore, he's like, oh, you're not as mature as I thought you were. Bitch. Sorry, I had to calm down. This is about to turn into a whole different podcast. But you know how when men, you just don't give them what they want, they start attacking you and shit like that? It's like, oh, you're not as mature as I thought you were. I thought you would be happy for me. Why? Nigga, did you think I was going to be happy for you? I don't fuck with you. I don't understand why I have to dig so deep in your ass and cuss you all the way the fuck out just for you to understand that I didn't want to have this conversation in the first place. I just don't understand that. Not to mention, Carrie Bradshaw, when we were in high school, the same woman that he's with now, the same woman that he has a current child with and is about to expecting twins with, he cheated on her with me. Obviously, I didn't know. But she would DM me on Instagram, and I'm 2 years older than both of them. So at the time, they were probably like 15. I'm 17. So she would DM me and be like, oh, you can have him. He still loves you. He still has your pictures in his phone. I caught him looking at your Instagram page. And I'm like, shorty, first of all, little girl, if you don't get your ass out my DMs, nobody cares about this man. Nobody cares about this man. I am so sorry that you were going through that. But it's looking like you're not trying to not go through that. So I don't know what to tell you. Okay? He definitely not cheating on you with me anymore. I can promise you that. Because as soon as I found out, I got the hell up out of Dodge. So at this point, I don't know what you want from me. Shank him, stab him, cuss his ass out. I don't know. Just leave me out of it. Do what you want. Do as you please. So after he told me that the same girl was pregnant with twins, I was like, yo, hey, listen, sometimes, sometimes, the book writes itself. I don't know what to say. I didn't know what to say to that. I was just like, I feel so bad for her because y'all done been together. When did they graduate? I don't remember. But y'all done been together basically since y'all graduated high school. It's been about 4 years since y'all graduated high school. And I know for a fact that you hit me up every year, once a year, to try to get back in my good graces. For what? I don't know, because there ain't a good grace on earth that you could get put back in on my behalf. And if I know you're doing it with me, you probably doing it with hella girls. So I just feel so bad for her that she done probably just gave up by now and just accepted that this is her life with you. And that she might as well get pregnant again because, I mean, shit, you know? And that is so sad to me. And I can't wait until we hit 1,000 followers so this can turn into a video podcast, just so I can put up pictures of screenshots of the conversations we had, because he was calling me bitter and angry and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm not bitter. And I'm not angry, and I'm not immature. I just don't fucking like you. And you're mistaking that for my regular personality, and you don't get to have my regular personality anymore. Anytime you ever speak to me, nigga, it's always gonna be beef. Leave me alone. And the fact that you're shocked by that means that you're either psychotic or I really don't know what to call you at this point, because you're just not getting the clue. You're just not getting the clues, plural. Leave me alone. In the next episode, I'm going to have to tell y'all about Clifford the Big Red Dog. That's another one I'm anxious because, child, I'm telling you, Othello should be my middle name because my whole life is a Greek tragedy. Okay, y'all. So let's talk about the shows that I've been watching, okay? I know some of you are waiting on my One Piece episode, because I'm not going to lie. The clip I posted on TikTok and Instagram about me not liking One Piece, I'm not even gonna lie, y'all was digging in my ass low-key. Like, some of y'all was like, you stupid bitch, One Piece is an anime, you like, treasure, how could you not like it? You're not really an anime fan, don't ever speak about anime again. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I was unaware at how much weight One Piece held. You know, I knew it was a widely loved anime, I just didn't know that y'all was gonna come, like that behind it. But okay, I respect it. And I'm also sorry to disappoint you, but there is no One Piece update because I have yet to watch it. And the reason why is because I am in the middle of so many different animes. The thing about anime is that it's so damn good, and Crunchyroll is just like a fucking fire pit full of animes for anybody who's like a genuine anime fan. There's categories, and there's just so many shows that I am just stuck in the middle of. And I don't know who to finish first. I don't know what to start again. I don't know what to start for the first time. You know what I mean? Just to give you some of the animes I'm currently watching. I'm currently in the middle of Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm trying to get through the 4th season of Attack on Titan, because personally they should have stopped at the 3rd. But you know what? That's me. We're not going to talk about that. I'm currently in the middle of Love Stage, Vinland Saga, which is fire. I told y'all in like 2 episodes ago that I got put onto that, which is unexpectedly a really good anime. I'm also on like the second episode of The Flower We Saw That Day. I think I'm right in the middle of the 1st season of Orange, and I'm trying, but I'm low-key scared. Y'all know I might butcher this, but it's like the Junji Ito collection. That shit look kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was watching the trailers and I was like, this look kind of fucked up. But I should have been watching that, to be honest with you, because I feel like I've heard about it before and I just never jumped into it. But it scared me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh my God. But I'm literally in the middle of all of those animes, and I'm trying to finish My Hero. Oh my God, I'm such a bad anime watcher. But I just don't ever know. I can't finish an anime altogether, because once I start watching one, I'm just like, oh my God, that reminds me of this. I gotta watch this. Oh, now I gotta watch this. Like, I just can't finish it all. It's not like a regular show. And they give me so many different emotions. Like, sometimes I want to watch a romantic anime. Then I want to watch a dramatic anime. Then I want to watch an action-filled anime. So because there's so many genres, I'm like, I don't know which one I want to watch today. Not to mention the recommendations I get on a daily basis. So for all the One Piece fans, I promise you by next Sunday, I'm going to have an update on One Piece. I'm gonna try to get to at least episode 10 by next Sunday, so that way I can give it like a real honest opinion, because I'm not gonna lie, I probably got to maybe episode 3 the first time I ever watched it, and I was like, no, I'm sorry, I will not. But another show that I do want to talk about, and then I'm gonna wrap the episode up, guys. I want to talk about season 4 of You. And you guys don't know this about me, but In season 3, one of the lead ladies was one of my favorite women in this entire world. Anybody who knows me personally know that my 2 favorite famous people are Donald Glover, if you don't know who that is, that's Childish Gambino, and Tati Gabrielle. Tati Gabrielle plays Prudence on the remake of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. She played Gaia in the 100. She plays Willow on, what's that show on Disney Channel, the little cartoon with Luz about the witch. Anyway, she played in that new game movie with Tom Holland. It was about finding some lost treasure. His brother died, some shit. She's in a lot. If you don't know her, look up Tati Gabrielle. I am physically and emotionally attracted to that lady more than I have ever been to any other woman in my entire life. Like, I'm obsessed with her, and I need her to know it constantly. So when I found out she was going to be in a 3rd season, I watched all of it the first day it came out, like the entire season, because I was like, she is booked and busy. Like, I love her. So when they were given like the promo photos for the 4th season, I knew they were going to be in London. London is one of my, if not my favorite place to go to travel to on this entire planet. I love London. I think in another life I was British, minus the colonization and all that shit. So I'm thinking, we about to get some England Tati. Like, I'm ready for this. I'm so excited. And it was actually filmed in London. So I was like, this is going to be a fire ass episode. I start watching it. They start bringing in all these random ass unnecessary characters. And I'm like, okay, so what's her name in the show? Where's Marianne? Like, did you not come to this fucking country to get her? She was in the season. You can equal her cameos up to probably like maybe 3 or 4 minutes. That's how long she was in the entire season. And most of it was just back shots, like foreshadowing, or not foreshadowing, but like, I was just so deeply unimpressed with the 4th season of You. Like, and then it was not only boring, but it was so predictable. As soon as they introduced Reese's character, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the 4th season of You, just forward past this part. As soon as they introduced Reese's character, I was like, this motherfucker guilty of something. And then when motherfuckers just start dying, I was like, it was him. I thought it was either going to be him or that homegirl that was helping Joe out in the library, who was giving him all them tips. I was like, it's either him or her. Like, I'm 100% sure it's either him or her if they're not working together. So at the end, when it was obviously Reese, I was like, this was a fucking waste of my time. Like, why did I watch this? First of all, my girl not even in it, like I thought she was gonna be. Then, why is this a murder mystery now? Like, the murder was never a mystery. It was always Joe. Like, if y'all gonna do this stupid shit, just bring love back. Like, I just really didn't understand the point of this season. Like, I gotta look it up. Did the person who wrote the script and directed the last couple seasons, was it the same person who did this season? Because it couldn't be. Because why is this a totally different show now? I don't like that. And then I get on like TikTok and Reddit, and everybody's like raving how much they love this season. And I was like, okay, so is it just me? Or like, I can't, none of the characters in this season were relevant to Joe or Marianne or any part of the story that we've seen so far in the first 3 seasons. Because where's Ellie? You know what I mean? Like, what is happening? What is happening? Like, did y'all even watch the first 3 seasons when y'all made this season? I don't know. If it was like the first season of a totally different show, it would have been fire. I'd be like, okay, this shit kind of spicy. Okay, I can get with this. But like, it felt like I was watching a whole different show. It answered none of the questions that I had from the first 3 seasons. We didn't get a follow-up on love. Like I said, Ellie, Jesus, you can see I'm stuttering because it pissed me off. I was like, where is the stuff that we've been waiting for since, almost fucking 2 years ago? And I don't even know if they're coming out with a season 5, but at this point, if they are, just keep it. Just stop. Like, don't turn it into one of them shows that should have stopped at, like, way back when, and y'all just kept on going. Just stop while you're ahead, because I don't see season 5 being good. Now, if they do a season 5, and obviously it's gonna come out in fucking 2025, and it blows me out the water, like Ellie comes back and we get some closure on some other shit, then I'm gonna be like, okay, well, all right, my bad for talking my shit. But I just genuinely don't see that happening for this show. It's just, I was severely unimpressed. And I know, they don't give a fuck about unimpressing me, but I was just like, You should do better. But all right, guys, I'm going to wrap up the episode there. Thank you for listening to me talk. I will see you guys in episode 15. Hope you have a good day. Bye, guys.